Hello there, people of the internet. My name is Udur Jagero, and this is Dialogues with Jagero. Today is a very good week for me. When did we get married?
9 years ago.
9 years ago. So
Wait,
that
2
is
days ago. 28th.
28th of August. So today I am celebrating my anniversary. I decided to bring my wife on set so that we can discuss about marriage and see whether this is something that we made a big mistake in having. But I have a feeling that because we are here, it doesn't look like we made a big mistake. So for me, marriage has been okay.
Okay.
A lot of people say that marriage is overrated, but I wouldn't say the same. I think it is a good thing if it is working. My mother and my fathers were okay, but I don't think that they were really working to what. But again, Luo culture and marriage is another thing altogether. There is a lot of patriarchy. By the way, I'm not against patriarchy. I'm just against men who think that patriarchy means bullying their wives and beating them and sending them around like kids. You know? So we decided to talk. Are you the one starting or am I the one starting? This is my wife, Julie.
Hello.
Julie Auma Majale. Julie Auma Majale. She decided not to take my name, you know?
I feel like this is a recurring theme. Every time we are with you, you mention that. Are you at peace with that?
Whether you're supposed to take my name or not. I really don't mind. I really don't mind.
You don't mind, okay.
So if you were a teacher, you'd be called Mrs. Utuor.
If I was a teacher, I would be called Mrs. Majale if I haven't changed my name.
No,
Miss Majale. No, I would say
but they will quickly realize who your husband is, and then they will tell you that you're Mrs. Utuor.
I mean, there are people who call
They will
me
figure
Mrs.
out
Odor.
that Majale is your father, and then they would not call you Mrs. Majale.
I mean, that's fine. There are people who call me Mrs. Odor.
Who?
Yeah, there are a few people who I think they're trolling
Those
me.
are just people who are trolling you.
They're just trolling me. So there are people who are like, yes, Mrs. Odor. I'm like,
Who,
okay.
the people that know me.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Mm-hmm. Do you feel? What do you say when they call
answer,
that?
because technically I am Mrs. Odor.
Yeah.
Yes.
Do you
it's
say
that
very
I
demure?
am.
Do you say very?
Yes. You see how they call my name? Very mindful. You see how I respond? I'm not being too catty with it. Very demure. Very mindful. Okay. Back to the thing.
Which one do you want? This small one? This
The big one. So that if this one, I'm told that in some whatevers it can fit the whole bottle.
They usually do this. What a shame.
What do you mean? What a shame! It's supposed to release the. I'm going to butcher this word, but the smelling things in wine. So you smell, and then you look at it. You tip it in the light, and you see if it has legs. And then you smell it.
So smelling, what is smelling supposed to do for you?
So you're just supposed to enjoy. It's supposed to need all your 5 senses. When you just eat with you eat with your eyes, with all the senses. And then when you feel like it's okay, you go in and take a sip.
What
around all over the tongue so you can get which notes are. Is it notes? Some are those ones. This is nice though.
Is it?
Yes, I like it.
This was given to us by our friend, Carrie Francis.
Okay, it's so weird call him by like that. Call him by the name that our friend
Oronje, as they know
yes.
it. So Oronje, thank you very much for the glass of wine during
Thank
anniversary.
You know? Yes. Are we supposed to cheers? Do people do that?
Yeah, let's cheer.
All right.
I think that would be nice.
And then you sip.
Yeah, I'm a villager. I'm always very afraid of cheering because I always think I'm going to break the bottle. Yeah?
You have to sip. After you cheers, you sip.
Oh.
Yes.
So that's that, eh?
Yeah.
Very demure.
Very mindful. Well, okay. But yeah, back to the thing about the name. I think if a person who gets married wants to change the name,
yeah,
that is a good thing. If that is not in your life plan, if it's not on your vision board, yeah. I mean, the government knows me as your wife, so.
A lot of people usually have a problem with me when I look at the phone. And they don't understand that this is where my questions are.
So we both have our phones. We'll both be glancing at our phones. It's not a Mwakenya. It's
Some
the
Kenya.
question.
It's the questions, right?
Yes.
So it's
question,
Kenya.
No, Mwakenya has like responses or like guiding whatever. Yes.
Are you happier married or happier when you are working for that godforsaken
Oh my gosh!
company?
Don't mention the name of the company. Don't mention the name of the company.
Along Mombasa Road.
They might want to come and be on the podcast.
Along Mombasa Road.
That's it. I mean, there are things about my life then that were good, and there are things about my life now that are good.
Yeah.
Yes, as the Bible says, we don't keep on we want to go to the nostalgic of back then without recognizing the present. So there are good times then and there are good times now. Although significantly better now.
Very good. We say what? Very
Very mindful.
Oh man. In my wildest dreams, I thought I would be getting into those shitty internet memes.
People call them shitty. People call them like me, but people don't understand. There's a point of relatability. I mean, imagine you meet a complete stranger and somebody says, very demure. You immediately go, very mindful. And then you're like, very cutesy. And then we are just vibing.
Yeah.
Yes. So, me, I don't hate.
You don't hate?
I don't hate on those things. There are those that I may not join in on, but I don't hate on them. I'm just like, yeah.
That is nice.
Yes. So, do we start?
Looking back,
yes,
reminisce about your journey together. Our journey together has been very fantastic for me. Yeah. Friendship. At the beginning, I found you a little bit weird. In terms of, one of the things about you is that you are always looking at the bigger things.
Really?
Yeah, you are not like, why is the dish on the table? You don't care. Oh, no, this is not very wifely. Yeah, this is not very wifely.
So when you are thinking that this could be a wife, what was your mental mathematics of this weirdo who I'm thinking might?
To be very honest, I didn't know. I did not have many expectations. And even if you asked me why I was getting married, probably it was because of sex. It was because probably to have a friend. But honestly, I was not getting married. I was getting married to get out of the streets.
Really?
Yeah, to get out of the streets, because the streets were not very nice.
They're not conducive, by the way. You are at that point.
Yeah, the streets were
Things
not
were
nice.
thick.
And I'd grown up so alone in the city. And I was like, I just want somebody that can be with me. We can laugh. Somebody that is not a man.
Interesting.
Yeah, men can be a bit...
read them.
But what do you reminisce yourself? What?
I think, again, getting married was not in my plan in the beginning. Yes. So it was kind of like, oops, here I am. And I was like, okay, a person like this I can get married to. I think the thing that tipped the scales to be like, okay, we are seriously talking about that. There was a time, I can't remember where we were coming from. We were coming from some event somewhere.
We were always
from some event.
From an event.
Yes. Anyway, so we were leaving that event. We were seated in the back of a very dodgy matatu. You remember those ones of Tasia?
Where were we going?
We were going back home. You remember that time you had moved close by then? The back of a very dodgy matatu. Shout out Embasava. And then, yes, so we were seated back there. And then we were who else? I can't remember. But anyway, you turned and then you said, we need to get married, so we stop going to these different houses. And I laughed and I said, actually, yeah. And it was the first time I actually said, yeah, and I meant it. So at that point, I started like looking at you like, what does marriage with this nigga look like? And lo and behold, things happened. Found ourselves there. Now we're married 9 years later. Well, sort of maybe 10. 9.
9. But we knew each other for a long time before that. A long time.
Yeah, long time. Yeah. It's actually, that's the thing we were saying even with Bobby the other time. I think one of the good things I'm really happy about with us is that we got to know each other before we started putting on fronts for each other.
What does that mean?
Sometimes when you're dating, you want to put your best foot forward. You want to be very demure, very mindful, very cutesy. And that may not be your mode of operation. But yeah, like you try to put on And it's not like you're trying to deceive the person, but you want them to see the best in you and put your best foot forward, which is not a bad thing to do. I think for us, because we started as friends, we really didn't, to a large extent, care what the other one person would see as a partner, because we were just vibing at the time. So I think that was helpful because we got to see each other in different lights. So as a friend, as a potential person, as a husband, as a wife.
The biggest lessons.
The biggest lessons in a marriage together. Yeah, that marriage is not copy paste.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think people have an idea of what marriage is. Sometimes that idea is correct. Sometimes it's very helpful. Sometimes it frames. But sometimes it also goes against what you want. If all you see is a copy paste of what marriage should be, it's not the same. So I think what I appreciate about our marriage, it's different from the marriages I saw around me. Some good, some not so good. But I appreciate we didn't try to be like ex-married couple or to try to be like ex. We just got married and then we just continued with life, which I appreciate.
So what are some of the things that we should have copy pasted out there?
I mean, the whole thing where, you do the dating, I think there are those, the matching outfit phase.
Yeah.
I don't think tumeshaishonesha nguo.
Yeah, together.
Yeah,
I brought you some very nice kitenge type clothes from Uganda, but you disregarded them. You never wore them as much. You didn't like them, right?
No, I liked them. I just, the cut was not my style. But then you didn't really know.
The cut was not your style?
Yes.
I didn't know what?
I didn't know the vibe I was giving at the time. Yes.
It's interesting because you never told me. Maybe if I don't like something, I usually...
Yeah, you're very vocal. You don't hide anything.
For you usually hide and say, okay, very demure. Whatever the word is.
No, I think for me, I take time with something before I say it. I think I weigh my words a lot sometimes, which is not always a good thing. But yeah, eventually you'll kind of know. Because if I don't say it with my voice, I'll say it with my actions. Yes.
How have you both grown and changed over the past 9 years? How have we grown and changed?
Have we grown and changed? Have we?
I think I've been thinking a lot about, if you look at who I am before, I wanted to be this big photographer, that travels the world and take photos for Nat Geo. I wanted to be this guy who would go out and make big documentaries about big life, about the Amazon in Brazil, or the forest or Nyungwe forest in Rwanda. Go to Malaysia and be stuck in the mountains for some days with heavy boots and heavy machinery. And then I started and then my foot got fucked. And I was like, so that changed me a lot. I think the biggest change that has happened to me when in our marriage is my outlook about health. Because I've really struggled with health. I've struggled with H. pylori. I've struggled with painful limbs. I've struggled with a lot of things. So I think that has changed throughout my love. I've had a bitter taste relationship with travel. I get out. I remember when I was in Norway the last outing, and this lady was very gracious and drove me from Jorvik, 2 hours to the mountains. And then when we reached the mountains, she took me to this big farm. Yeah, a very huge farm that belongs to her father. And she wanted to take me to every place of that farm. And in my head, it was like, this is such a huge thing that this lady is doing to me, but my feet is failing me. Yeah. So, and then she took me to the 1994 Olympic, where they held the Olympic in 1994 in Norway. And it is this deep place where you travel and then you take a cart and it takes you over the mountain. And the walk to that place was atrocious. So that one, that's perhaps for me is what has changed over the years. The way people say that I've become wiser? I don't think I've become wiser. I have become very pragmatic with life. Very, very
I
pragmatic.
I feel like that's another way to say it, but okay.
Yeah, very pragmatic, very pragmatic with life. So yeah, that's how for me I've changed, and I also think that I think for you, what I have seen change with you is put your foot down a little bit more. When we got married, you are a bit very. You I think you listened to me more and got and was looking. What is the word? Banking on me to give direction. But over the years, I think that you have at the center of things. You remember when you changed
Yeah.
for example, when I used to just paint the house and you'd just be, you're not
Just
bothered.
vibing.
Yeah, and then these days you're like, no, I don't like that color. It's not giving.
It's not giving. No, I think for what the change I've seen in myself, like, okay, there's that, like being more assertive, yes. I think something else, I've also been more willing to take some risks, I think. And that's mostly because learning from you. That one I've learned. That one for real, I've learned from you. Yes, because you are the kind of person like you wake up today, I'm like, I feel like doing X, and you do it. You just wake up and you just do it. No, you just go and do it. Whether you research, whether it will be done. If it pops in your mind, at some point it will be done, either now or later. And that's something I feel like I appreciated a lot, even before we started dating and all that. But yeah, so I think that like I'm starting to get more of a, do they call it a risk appetite? Or what do they call it? That thing. That. So I think that's how I've changed. For you, I feel like you've become more, what's the best word to put there? You've become more accommodating. Let's put it like that. I think that's I'm not sure if that's the better word, but yeah. Like, there is a vulnerability and a softness that I never used to see when we were friends. And so it's very, very nice to see it nowadays where you're like that, and you're so, especially when you're with Maya. Like, even your face changes. Even you should see yourself when you're with Maya. It is so beautiful to see.
Who is Maya?
Who is Maya? Maya is this person who landed in our lives via me. Maya is our daughter. Yes.
Maya, you see, Maya has also taught me a lot on how to view women. Every time, the first time we got Maya, my view of women completely changed.
Really?
Yes.
Huh.
Yeah.
How so?
Because now I have constantly been thinking about somebody's gonna treat your daughter like this. Somebody's gonna treat your daughter like this. You know? But that does not take away the fact that I still find women puzzling. I still find women very, very
Really?
puzzling. Yeah. I find you puzzling. I find women really, really puzzling.
After all these years, I don't feel I have any surprises for you, I think.
No, you still do.
Okay. Well, I guess that's good.
Share one of the most cherished memories from your marriage. You know what I know? And I still go back to that picture. The picture, the biggest shared memory of mine is when we went to the village the first time when we had Maya.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
then
yeah.
with my old Mercedes Benz with the Uganda number plate, we drove
Oh yeah, there
all
near
the
the
way
water.
to the water.
Oh yeah.
And then I remember us putting Maya on top of the bonnet, overlooking the
with the black
river,
and brown stripe.
River Nyando.
Yeah.
You know.
Good times.
That day I had a eureka moment that, oh shit, I have a family.
That's when it landed.
Yeah, I have a family, and how is my family going to be different from the families that I have grown up with?
Do you want it to be different?
For sure.
How different?
I don't think I enjoyed the relationship between my father and mother. I don't think I enjoyed the difference between my grandfather's life with my grandmother. The paternal one, the paternal grandfather. or a lot of families that I saw around me. Probably that is the way they were supposed to live, and I have no qualms with that. But there was a huge, you could see that these people were just living for their families. It was so dutiful. You know, people giving birth to so many kids and laboring so much for them to the point where they forget themselves. And they are no longer, like, I look at my mother and I don't think my mother even recognized herself that I am Rhoda Anyango. You see, Rhoda Anyango. And I want to walk like Rhoda Anyango. And I want to build Rhoda Anyango as a woman. You see, I think Rhoda Anyango, my mother, was looking at how can I feed Udur? How can I feed Grace? How can I feed Otis? How can I feed Jackie? How can I feed Ababi? How can I make this man, this towering alcoholic in my life? You see? So I think I didn't want that. I wanted a Rhoda Nyarabondo. I wanted a Mary, you see, to be that woman that can think about herself. You remember the other day you were telling me that I want to be free. I want to buy things for myself. I want to travel for myself.
Yeah.
That is what I've always wanted as a human being, and not be boggled down by. I think I've always said that kids is
Yes. No, Maya, if you're watching this when you grow up, we still love you. No shade. No shade. But that's why you only had the one.
yeah.
Yes. We can manage, we can do whatever.
What is your favorite memory? Before we forget about that.
Oh yeah. That was actually a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember that day, it was such a nice one. Another good one was so many to pick. No, the one that came up first in my mind is when we had just I think it was just like a few weeks or something after we'd come back from Uganda after the honeymoon and everything. And you were seated down, and I think you even posted a photo of it where we were chilling in the sitting room. We weren't watching anything, we were just talking. And you had, I think, a beer, and since I was still breastfeeding, I had juice, and then there was Maya's bottle thing there. And we were sitting and we were just chatting away, we were just enjoying. Like, in my mind, those are my favorite moments, when it's just us, we are chatting away, we are talking, we are gossiping sometimes. I think those are my favorite high points of memories. But I remember that one specifically because I don't know whether we did it intentionally or not, but every now and then we find ourselves back in that groove, and I really, really enjoy that.
Yeah, so it is your time to question, looking back.
Yeah.
Looking back.
So, this one now, it's back on the same thing about the favorite memory, but of the actual wedding, not of the marriage. Like, what is your recollection or your high point at the actual wedding?
At the actual wedding, my biggest...
or let me give it, make it more wide. Approaching and up to, like, let's say the 2-3 weeks before.
I know I'm married, everything is very blurry for me. I think the audience should know that my sense of memory is pretty fucked up. I don't remember a lot of things. During my wedding, and by the way, I've always silently very thankful to the government.
What do you mean thankful to the government?
It's the government that gave us opportunity to get married, while the church was like very shitty about it. The government gave us a place to go and sit with our families. I think I have never taken it for granted that the government gave us a place to sit down, and it hurt me so much that the church, where I'd served so much, was trying to charge me to be on the altar to get married. I have never forgiven the church for that.
I remember
it was horrible. All Saints Cathedral, it was just shitty, man. As somebody that came to your church as a young boy in college, grew up in that church, and you knew the economic hardship that he was going through, and you tell them to pay $23,000 to get married. I thought that was really, really bad to my church. And my church, man, All Saints Cathedral, if people who have grown up there, they need to be supported to get married. The biggest day of their life.
Yeah, I mean, I
That
agree
was
with
told
you.
that I have to pay the cash.
No, I agree with you because you guys were in church constantly.
Yes.
I mean, the first time I met you was in that church.
Yes.
You guys were doing all the things, and yeah, it was shady of them to do that.
And then I wanted to be married on the altar, and I was denied that altar. Do you know what happens there?
Mm-hmm.
People who are not even All Saints Cathedral members come there with their coffins to mourn their dead in that church. And as a person that grew up in that church, I was not given an opportunity to get married on that church. So that is why I'm always very thankful to the government of Kenya for giving me a place. You know, we always think that the government is a monster,
Sometimes
but
it's
sometimes
not.
they really come through.
They come through for people.
Yeah. My memory of that wedding day is seeing my cousins show up. And especially the man that I'm estranged to, called Carl.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Carl
yeah,
showed
yeah.
up there
He really came through that day. That day he came through.
You know?
Yes. Carl came through that.
So that is the memory that I remember and I really love about it. I don't know whether we are supposed to also talk about the memory of the honeymoon in Uganda. But
That was
wedding.
fun. That
Wedding,
was fun. Yeah. I like.
We didn't have the money to stay in a hotel.
Yeah.
So we decided to get an Airbnb. Oh, it was beautiful.
It was so
more than a
beautiful.
hotel.
By the way, remind me his name. He was the radio
I think it is Elijah.
Elijah
Elisha.
Kitaka.
Yes, Elijah Kitaka.
Shout out to Elijah
Yeah.
Kitaka.
So Elijah used to work for Google and had built this amazing house
That place was nice.
on the hill.
And the pool.
And the amazing.
Hey, that was a good a good time. I enjoyed that.
Yeah, it was beautiful.
Yeah. No, I think I liked that. Okay, sometimes I always joke with my friends that this is again what I'm saying, the copy paste thing, because some people imagine for your wedding or your marriage to be at the level, it must be the church. Some people believe that if it's not the church, then it's out the door. If it's not, onto a coastal area outside the country, blah, 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 then it's not valid. I think that's part of the reason why I enjoyed how things worked out between us. And then even on that day, I remember our first event as Mr. and Mrs. Jagger was Jumla Day. You remember?
Jumla Day in Kampala.
In Kampala, yes. Yes.
I don't remember.
We had Jumla Day. No, it was such a good time. In fact, it was very, like, when we were there, like, hi, how are you? Because me, I was new to the community. Remember, you were the one who was mostly in CMS. So me, it was just like holding forward, doing stuff in the background. But it was also nice to see how other people saw you. I think it's also important in a marriage to see that the way you see your person is not the way other people see your person. Yes. So I really enjoyed that. And then, of course, the pork.
The pork in Uganda.
The pork in Uganda deserves awards. Yes. Anyway, but yeah, it was a good time.
What were your first impressions of each other? This is your question, but I think it is it's irrelevant because we had known each other already for a long time.
I think it's weird, like Nini, the first impression of like when we met each other. I don't think I remember much of that. But yeah, I think by the time we had started getting like, oh, maybe this could be a person, then I think I started paying more attention. But actually, what I wanted to know is, what did you think you knew about marriage that changed now your marriage? There's what you thought you knew, and then now you're in the marriage, and it was not what you thought it was going to be, good or bad.
Julie, let me be very honest. I had nothing to look forward in marriage.
For real?
No, I had nothing to look forward in marriage.
So essentially, you came up no expectations at all.
No, for me there
That's
was
interesting.
There were no expectations. You see, you don't cook for me much, do you?
No.
That should have been something that I had expectation of, because there is no day my father cooked for my mother.
That's interesting.
Yeah, there is no day my mother did not cook for my father. So I always say that I am always interrogating everything. I interrogate everything about my life and about life. I am one of those guys that do not work well with scripts.
Oh, facts.
Yes, that this is how it's supposed to be. Even Ali is always telling me things. I'm like, why should it be like that? Why should marriage be like that? You know? And I think we are our own enemies in every space that we occupy. We're the ones who break them, we're the ones who make them. Somebody can come into this room and say, there are people who watch my video and get so offended by so many things, by little things. Somebody told me, what is that flower doing on the table? Throw it away.
Why are they hitting on our kanini?
You can imagine somebody is so angry at a flower on a video that they are seeing. Like they have decided that I'm not going to enjoy the podcast
Because of
I
this
am
flower.
going to be pissed off about. Some people will be pissed off that we're drinking wine on a set.
Well,
So for me, I always look at how can we just enjoy what we have around.
yeah.
You know, like for example, in our early in our marriage, even today you are not big on let's go and shop for bed sheets, let's go and shop for whatever, let's go and do this, let's go and do these big things. The other day you got Maya a cloth that is not fitting.
It was funny. And the way she wants to wear it, and she looks like
Terrible.
She looks like she's floating in it.
I could decide to hold on to it. That this lady does not want to do this, doesn't want to get her ass off and go do this. And I can also decide, let me look at other things,
Yeah.
you know, and enjoy it. I mean, Julie, I think life is really short.
It is.
Life is really short. For me, I'm at 42 years old. I have had a serious midlife crisis for the last 2 years, by the way.
Yeah.
Since I hit 40, I am having a midlife crisis. Even today, sitting on this podcast, I'm still having a midlife crisis. There are so many things that are not connecting for me.
But I mean, it's good to see the growth so far anyhow.
You think I have grown?
No, like we talked about it earlier, like again, there's a softness. I think you, in as much as you wanted like the companionship and the things you were talking about earlier on about getting married and getting a wife to laugh with, enjoy with, and all those things, I think you also came to the realization that a lot of what you saw in other marriages, you didn't want it, but you also weren't sure what to expect. I felt like at times when things would happen, you'd be like,
Yeah.
And then is when you'd step away and think about it, then now you would come back. And I think you have that thing of stepping away, figuring it out for yourself, and then coming back. And then you just move on. So I think with like a lot of things, even like with the expectations of that, you'd look at it and you'd be like, oh, so this is not a thing. And then you think about it and then you go on.
Yeah. That's what I think about it. By the way, you're the one who is supposed to be asking these questions, Julie. Don't.
So you already finished my section here.
What's the one big thing you remember about your first year of marriage that makes you smile?
Oh, I shared that already.
You shared that already. So that's me.
Because
So
that was when you're talking about the trip home at the ocean, and then I talked about that photo you took. That
what is the
different?
What is the most important lesson you've learned about relationships in the past 9 years? I think one of what I've learned is giving people grace and not trying to change people so much. There are things that I can see in you, and I think this is not really looking good. You can change it, but I think some people try to change a lot and not giving each other space to live their own lives.
Yeah.
See, like the way we have treated our phones. Way our phones, not people, not, you see. I hope that you're enjoying this program. Over the last 15 years, I have been working online for clients in America, in Europe, and all over the world. And that is why it pains me a lot when I see a lot of African brothers and sisters saying that they do not have a job. Now, this is the problem. A lot of people are trying to look for a job in 2024 in their own town, in their local area. Now, the truth is, there are no jobs in Africa, at least not so many jobs. The good news is that we have internet these days, we have a tablet, we have a computer, we have a phone, and that means that we can do a lot of jobs, and those jobs are online. That is why over the last 4 years I've been writing a book that is called Digital Goldmine. It is a book that explains to you how you can earn money online. The 18 hustles that I've chosen are basically for Africans, because what happens when you are doing online jobs is that payment is usually a problem. So these 18 side hustles that I have put together in this book, you can be paid very well and very conveniently. Okay, so the book is only 1,000 Kenya shillings. That is about $10. You can buy it in Kenya using paybill number. You can buy it online from anywhere in the world using a credit or a debit card. All the information about this book is in the description below. And if you have a brother, you have a wife, you have a husband, you have a friend who is sitting at home and watching Netflix, please do buy this book for them. If you are the one sitting at home and watching Netflix and have nothing to do, please buy this book and your life is gonna change forever. Because I have been doing this online and I've been traveling and I've been enjoying myself and having a lot of fun. So thank you very much, and now back to programming. There is a video that is going there is a new series on Netflix where this lady is complaining that this man was always having to look at her phone every now and again. And you would know every new entry on the phone, and you'd want to know why that entry is on the phone. So for example, you go meet somebody in Congo and you put it on the phone. So the guy would want to know who is this guy on the phone? You see? So that is what I have learned over the years, that treat the other person as a human being, treat them as a friend. If the feelings go temporarily, it's not a bad sign. You're just going through it. You're just going through life.
Through life.
You know?
I think yes, and then also another thing, or something that I feel like you noticed of what I've learned, is that you don't always have to agree.
What do you mean?
Yes. There are a lot of things I feel you and I disagree on, but at the same time, it's never been the thing to pull us apart, so to speak. Yes. Because you can disagree with the way somebody is looking or choosing to deal with an issue. Yes. But it doesn't mean that that person now becomes, like, you root the what is that thing you said the other day? Throw the baby with the bath water. That.
Yes.
Yes. And I think that's one thing I've noticed about us. Because yes, we will tick each other off. Yes. We'll be angry with each other. Yes. But we don't make it about this person is bad. We make it this situation is bad. This thing is bad. Not that this person is bad. And I think that's a distinction. I don't know how we did it. I don't know how it came up. I'm just happy that that's the way it is. Yes, because otherwise it's all that room for what's that thing called? Like when you put it on the person, it grows a bitterness where you can't be vulnerable and personable with that person anymore. And I feel like that's when things go sideways. Like for me, that if God forbid we got to a point where we can't even have those weird gossip sessions even when we get to bed, I feel like I'd be like, trouble is coming.
Weird gossip, what do you mean?
No, so you know those conversations sometimes we have before we go to bed, and we'll talk about everything and nothing, whether it's about AI or you're talking about something for the house or we're talking about whatever. Those conversations where we come together like that. Yes, for me, that would be a red flag. If those ones stopped, in my heart, I'd be like, where? Problems. Iko shida. Yeah, so like there are things that happen in our marriage that's how I know that we are doing okay. If we are not doing okay, like there are things, that's how I measure personally.
Several times you've asked me, are you okay? What are the signs that you usually see that makes you think that this guy is on a scale? I don't figure him, I don't feel him.
No, you can tell, like when you're super stressed, like you withdraw. That's what I'm telling you. You withdraw sometimes almost completely. Yes, you will be very tired. You'll be clicking at your computer. You'll be like, there are those times I'll be like, okay, this is the time to move closer. This is the time to move far away. You give him space to do whatever. This is the time to be on his case. Things like that. So usually I'll notice when you start withdrawing, you actually, first of all, you don't talk a lot. Like you talk a lot, yes, in general, but like this me. But also like your tone changes. Like you can, like sometimes I feel like I can hear it in your voice when you're not fully there.
Is that so?
I feel like it happens. So far, I haven't been wrong. So
Very considerate.
very mindful.
Very classic.
Jesus. Yeah, that meme will be the end of us.
Hey, how have we helped each other grow as individuals? You have supported me a lot, I think. You know?
You know, you say that, but in my mind, I feel like I've done barely nothing. And the reason I say
Remember
that,
when we were doing CMS Africa, you would show up
I mean, yes, no, I get that.
and be the MC.
But in my mind, I'm like, you were already doing it. Like, I didn't see it as like, yes, I'm supporting him. I was like, oh, he's doing stuff. I'll be in the background while he's doing stuff. That was actually my approach to it. I'll be like, okay, this I can do, this I can't do, this I can do. But yeah, when I look at it in terms of support, like, I appreciate that you say that, but in my mind, I'm like, I could still do more in my mind.
You should start. You should get a investment in dialogues with Jagero and give me some money.
And give you some money. How much per month? Let's discuss. Let's negotiate.
This podcast is taking so much from me.
It is.
And not giving me a lot that I need.
It is. But I mean, it's the uphill.
I can give you 5% for $1 million.
For $1 million. One-off payment, or is there a payment plan?
Julie, are you serious? Let's not talk about things that are not serious that you're not going to take.
No, see, we are going to talk about it seriously. I don't think we can talk about it seriously.
What is the best piece of marriage advice you've ever received? I have not received any marriage advice from anybody.
What do you mean you've never received any marriage advice from anybody?
I have not had problems to necessitate.
No, like before, like when people are like, okay, I'm getting married, blah, blah, blah. Nobody was like...
Maybe only once. There is a time you are not helping in the house. In my estimation, I call your mother. You know?
And what, did you get good advice at that time?
Your mother was pretty shocked that I called her to complain. She was very shocked, actually. So she just let me talk. She talked very little.
Very, very mom.
Yeah, she did not... I called her from the balcony. I think you're in the bedroom, and I told her the things that I was having problems with you. And then she told me that Julie is still young. And she might not have more than twice. You know the way the way somebody can have several eyes around in a large area. So what she was telling me, that you still can't see the things the way they're supposed to see them. And she told me I'll talk with her about it. You know, so I think that was a big advice, and I used it. I've been using it a lot over the years. When somebody is young and is not able to, especially when somebody makes a mistake, and what you should easily the immediate thing you should think about is that are they in knowledge of what should be done? And if they are not in knowledge, are you going to sulk and make a face, or are you going to tell them that this is how it's supposed to be done and give them time to do it?
Yeah, it's strange that both our advice comes from my mom.
What has she told you about marriage?
Yeah, she told me, like, even I remember that time when we had that issue. But the one she told me, like, before getting into it, she was like, hey, whatever thing that you can't deal with now, like, you look at the person, you're like, if there is something about Jagero that is just rubbing you the wrong way. If it's rubbing you wrong now...
How does she call me, by the way?
She calls you her son.
No,
she doesn't address you by name.
Really?
What? See, in our family, it's a thing. You just call somebody by a nickname, or, hey, your friend, oh, your husband, or our husband, or... So she'll say, our husband, or she'll say, how's my son doing? Like that. By the way, she never addresses you by name. Anyway, but yeah. So she said, if there is something you see right now, and it's already something you cannot manage, just know that is what you have. That is your standard. As bad as it can get, you have to be willing to live with that. If not, don't even start. So this was before getting into the marriage.
Yeah.
In the marriage, The one she gave me that I've still been using is also to hear what is not being said. Yes. Like there are times people will come up front and tell you, and which is why sometimes I check in, because I'm not always good at that. So I always check in. I'll be like, hey, are you okay? Are we fine? What's going on? Yes.
What are you most? I'm going through these questions. I think some we have already answered, and they're repetitions.
Yeah.
What are you most proud of accomplishing together?
Together.
Can go first.
I mean, you can go first. I'm just trying to think. I feel like we've supported each other in ways. I think the thing I'm most proud of is our commitment to, when one of us needs support, the other one always comes through. Yes, I don't feel like there's a time where...
They say that you're not supposed to pay rent, but you've paid rent a lot of times. They're saying
we are not going to discuss the internal finances.
No. I mean, look, Julie, let me tell you something. The reason why the world is hurting is because we don't say things. We don't like... This is us talking about marriage.
Tell them.
People are talking about... People have got a lot to talk about marriage. People are... Anyway, I was just saying that that there is something about you that you're very aware of things and how life should work. You know, and you're not somebody you're not a typical woman.
Not a typical woman. That sounds nice and sounds bad at the same time.
Anyway, what were we answering?
You're saying, what are you most proud of in the marriage?
What have we accomplished together?
Together, okay.
What we have accomplished together for me are two things: getting Maya,
yes,
and number 2, building our house in the village. That is something I am so proud of, because I lived in a very bad house when I was in the village. And and I have traveled a lot. And one of the things I'm proud of when I go out there, especially in Europe and America, is seeing people having their little mansionettes and their little houses with driveways and flowers and coming out and playing in the garden. And, here in the city, I don't have that. Our house is an apartment. There is nowhere to... You remember the last time... 2 weeks ago, we were with Maya at home, and we couldn't even see her most of the day.
Yeah, she had
was
her own
out
plan.
there under the trees. She was out there on the other side, and it was just amazing. There are cuckoos. There is our big dog. What is her name?
Hey, Princess. How do you forget?
Princess. And us completing that house, man. It's not yet really done, but...
It's there. It's a good start. Where it is now, it's...
For me, that is the biggest, one of the biggest achievements that we've done. And also, the third one, probably staying together to date. They say that men really suffer when they leave relationships. Motherfuckers out there are dying.
You can't relate?
I relate. There are so many of my friends out there that are suffering because their marriages just fell apart. They are not who they were used to be. There's a particular friend of mine that I see his life right now, and he's gone south. Because...
Smells wine.
So, that one.
Yeah, so I think, yes, the house and everything. For me, I think I've already mentioned it, how we come through for each other. Because again, as you know, when it comes to material things, I'm also very laid back in terms of the things. Yeah. But it's, you remember when I was operating with life with a looming sense of dread. There's a preaching end. With a looming sense of dread.
But the way, have you ever, on that specific thing, especially when you are saying that That statement for me was a bit disturbing.
I know. How you operate, I can see why it could be. You're like, what do you mean? Like, because how you have lived your life in terms of earning your money and doing things, that's not an issue. And for it to be an issue for someone, it's very concerning in your mind. I can see that. Unless there's also another thing you can share. But
No. The concerning part of it about me was that in my head I was like, does Julie think that I cannot cover for her?
oh my gosh, no. What? No. No, that's not what it was. Because I'm just saying, it's whenever I have been down, you've come through for me.
Yeah.
Yes. So it's never been a thing. It's just that I also, what I was telling you the other day about the things I want to do for myself. I'm like, I'll have to stop, like plans have to stop because of this. Goals that I had have to be pushed because of this. That's what I was thinking. Yeah. In the present, I'm actually, this might sound wrong, but I don't feel like, at least when it comes to like providing and things like that, I don't doubt your ability to do that. Yes. But part of me feels that I would not feel at ease if I was not contributing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wouldn't feel comfortable. Yes. Let me put it like that.
Okay.
Yes. Have we gone through all the others?
What are some things that we still want to learn or improve on as a couple?
Things we want to learn or improve as a couple.
Travel more.
True. Yes, I think more alone time, I think, is more the thing. Alone time outside our bubble of the house.
I feel like we are really doing well these days with speaking at the balcony and you smoking weed.
Why are you saying me smoking weed? Like I was smoking, being jumped. Okay, sir. Me smoking weed with another person who is smoking weed in the room.
She doesn't smoke weed.
No, I don't mind saying smoke. I don't like the way you have put on me, like I'm smoking it alone.
The only reason why I take weed, and in fact I do not smoke weed. I take weed because I was told by that Italian doctor to take weed. How was I not told? I was told.
Oh, so you have a prescription.
Who told you to be smoking weeds once in a while?
Who told me?
Yes.
My husband influenced me.
No, Julie, you were smoking weed before. Stop lying. Stop lying.
Okay.
Stop lying.
Okay, I'll stop lying.
You smoked weed before I did.
I'll stop lying.
You smoked.
However, what I will say, because I don't want the government to come looking for me, I'll say.
You think the government is going to look for you because you smoked weed?
Hey, me, I don't know.
The government that wedded us.
The government that wedded us, I don't know what they're thinking. The government machinery, I don't know what they're thinking of. I don't know what their plan is. As a paranoid person who watches a lot of true crime, I don't want anyone to come for me. But yes, I enjoy the therapeutic benefits of weed. Yes, I enjoy the therapeutic benefits. I enjoy getting high every once in a while. We sit back there, we chill, we vibe, we talk nonsense, we talk sense. Yeah, and we vibe. Which apparently is something that most people don't do with their husbands, I think. Because I was thinking if there's somebody you'd vibe with, especially if you're having a... Yeah. But anyway.
Yeah.
That's a story for another day.
What's your favorite trip that you've taken together? That I think is the one for, we have already talked about it. The one for Uganda and the one for me, the one for home. I don't know which other trip that we have taken that we...
That's why I'm saying we need to travel more. Wine is dead.
Wine iko?
No.
Kupatia wine.
Top up.
There's a way that they
Let me show you.
Show me. You know I'm a villager.
So this car, the groove hapo chini, you put in your thumb, you hold it, and so you're supposed to like demonstrate it, you show it to the person. Once they nod, and then now you go and then you pour it. And you try to, I don't know if this is a beer thing or also a wine thing, you tip the glass, and then, it's not supposed to touch, and then you pour it. And then you let the thing go so it doesn't drip. And then this goes into an ice bucket to chill. I don't know if it's supposed to be cocked or not. That part I don't remember.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's how I've seen it done.
Okay.
So you don't just go like this. That one is for when you're drinking in the house.
What is the small everyday moment that you cherish?
The small everyday, I've said it already multiple times. Those two conversations.
Yeah.
Yes. I usually the highlight of my day.
Yeah? Okay.
Oh, that and when we do family squash.
What is family squash?
The thing Maya insists on doing before she goes to bed.
Ah.
Yeah.
You like that, eh? What are you most excited about for the future of your marriage?
Excited about the future of our marriage. I'm excited to see what will happen with DWJ. I'm excited to see what will happen with
Do you
this
think
other.
it's a viable business anyway?
No, I think I like it because it's a lot of perspectives. I am the unknown beneficiary of this show, because sometimes every time you talk to someone, you come home and you're like, hey, this thing, and I'm like, yeah, it's a thing, and you're like, what do you mean it's a thing? And then we have a whole thing about it. So yeah, I've been very happy to see how the way you're talking to people and the different perspectives that are brought here, I think are a good thing. Yeah, I think are a good thing, and I like that it comes home. And yes, so I'm excited to see the growth of DWJ, for us to finish our house at home, for us to travel with Maya, go to the beach somewhere, go to a city somewhere.
Do you think that we can do our first big travel and go to Rwanda in November?
Goals, yeah.
In early December.
I am planning my life with that in mind. Yes, and not only December. I'd like to get to the point where we do like maybe something close to home every year, and then every like alternate year or every other like 2 years, then skip, we do like a big one, like say Spain or something like that. I would like to get to that point. Yeah. So that travel. I also look forward to having some resolution and seeing your the issue with your health improve, especially with your leg. I want to see you enjoying life the way you want to enjoy life. Yeah, I think that's a thing. I think, yeah, those are the main things. Yeah, plaques, YouTube plaques, subscribe. Yes, bring your advertisements to Dialogues with Jagero.
By the way, I wonder
Yes.
why they are not giving me any advertisements, these guys.
I wonder, by the way, what are you people waiting on?
I think
I
it's
feel like a
something-
lot of people tell you, like, yeah, I want to come to your podcast and talk about my business. And the way to do that is to put an advert on Dialogues with Jagero. So
probably they also don't know how to get into Dialogues with Jagero. But for clarity, if you have got a small business and you've got a budget of 50,000, 100,000 per month, you can always come and work with me, man. This thing is very difficult to shoot. I've got 6K camera, 4K camera, all looking at me.
yes.
You know, the editing can be very hard. Let's come together. I was looking at my analytics on TikTok and I very demure.
Very mindful.
You know,
Very cutesy.
my videos have been 10 million views this
Already?
past 28 days.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome.
10 million views.
Okay.
Imagine if your ad was on that.
Surely. What are we waiting
Facebook,
for?
on the other hand, is at 3 million. YouTube is now gone to 2.5 million views since we started last year. And very classy.
Yes, very considerate. You see the way we advertise for people to join us?
You know?
Very cutesy.
I have not answered that question. I want us to have a family where we can have basic things going on for us.
Basic things as in?
Basic things going for us. We plant our food. We sank our well the other day. It is almost done. Not the well, the pond.
The pond.
You know, fence that beautiful place. You know, and finish that house.
Yeah.
So that for me, and DWJ and my business, I've been having a lot of problems with the clients lately because I feel like I don't want to get into that.
For later, discussion for later. Oh wait, you forgot one more thing, to get Maya's shurak of shoes.
Shurak.
Yes, the shoes that really, on the goal. Yeah.
Where do you want to see us in 10, 20 years? See, that's what we have talked about. So, yeah, it was very nice talking to you.
Wait, what about the advice for the newlyweds?
Oh, yes,
That
that
last
one.
bit,
Yes,
the
yes, yes.
bottom.
Advice for the newlyweds. What are the
So you weren't given advice.
what are
yeah?
the one piece of advice you'd give newlyweds?
Yes. So you weren't given advice beforehand, which I find very strange, by the way. Still, you have to ask that. But now what advice would you give to the newlyweds? The boys who are asking you about marriage that you used to talk about on your Facebook page. Yes. What do you tell them about marriage?
What I will tell people about marriage is that it is overrated. Marriage is highly overrated. For me, looking at marriage and somebody might say that I'm barely married because I've been only married for a decade, but a decade is a long time.
It's a long time.
You know,
It's a long, long time.
I think that one thing that I will tell newlyweds is, number one, please treat marriage and the advice that you're given about marriage as somebody who is eating fish. If you're eating fish, if you see the way your Kikuyu eats fish and you see the way your Luo eats fish, it's very different. I think if you want to eat fish really well, you need to know that right now I have flesh and bones at the same time in my mouth. And I need to spit out the bone.
Spit out the bone, keep the flesh.
Keep the flesh. You know? How do you eat the fish? You start with the soft part and then you finish with the engine, which is the head.
The head.
So I think leave the huge details about your marriage and the problems in your marriage and talk about them. I think we've talked about countless times about the things that we have in our marriage together. The things that people tell you about marriage, don't go into marriage with those things in your pocket. You may go with those things into marriage in your pocket, but please be careful when you're taking them out and placing them on the table so that your spouse can deal with them. There are specific things that people always expect of men. Those things are no longer really working very well. You know, men are not brought out properly these days to be proper men, to lead. There is a lot of shift to the other gender. A lot of that gender, the woman has been propped up a lot by a lot of by governments, by NGOs, by fellow men, by fellow women. The woman is very strong emotionally, is very aware these days. And if you're going to treat men as our grandfathers or as our elders treated them, we have got a very different man. In my estimation, I think that men have been left to fend for themselves. Women have been propped. So, if you are going to get that man that was living before the dawn of feminism and the dawn of a woman getting a car and going to work and having a job and having a fancy office, we don't have that kind of man anymore. We have most of the times we have a very struggling man. A man who doesn't know himself, a man who's trying to find himself, a man who's trying to do that. You can say that it's not my job to help him find himself, but then again, you can't have your cake and eat it. So when you're getting into marriage, for women, they need to know that you are not having a finished product as a man. And probably also a woman. You're not getting a finished product. So
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
figure it out yourselves. Figure it out yourself.
Figure it out yourselves.
Figure it out yourselves.
You have left them to that.
Yes, don't listen to you can listen to your mother-in-law, but be very careful what she's telling you. You can listen to your father, but be very careful what they are telling you. Because they are not you, they are not living in your age. So if they are coming to you and telling you things that used to happen to them 30 years ago, you know that is coming with a pinch of salt. You know, if your mother is coming and telling you that the man is the leader of the house and the man is the provider, fine, she has seen her own husband being the provider and the leader of the home. But is your man your father? That's very different.
Tell them.
So if you're going to insist that this man has to be like my father, then no. You can't marry your father. You can only marry another man. So I think that is and I'm very passionate about this thing, by the way. And also the men. I think as a man, you must really get out there.
Get out there how?
Get out there and do something for yourself.
Okay.
You can't say it. I was just talking to a friend of mine the other day, Ronje actually. Was it Ronje? I think it was Ronje. Ronje told me something so unbelievable. And he said that there are people who went to the university as men.
Okay.
And had very good schooling.
Okay.
And had a lot of dreams going on for them. And me and Ronji, we never went to the university. And we were talking about that. And he was telling me there are people that were in the university and they had lofty dreams of how they are going to be executives at banks, how they are going to be this and that, how they are going to be engineers, how they are going to be this. Then they finished that school, and in Ronje's words, said these motherfuckers find themselves jobless and unable to do anything for themselves. And I'm like, motherfucker, you gotta sell fruits.
Do something.
That's what that's what is staring at you. Selling fruits. And some men just look at selling fruits and they're saying, I am not able to do this. I can't do this. And so what happens? They deflate.
Like a pride thing, or like that's not for me?
You want to give it any name you want to give it.
He's just not doing that.
But we are just talking about the situation. The man went to the university and got out there with a degree in whatever engineering, textile engineering.
Things fell apart.
And realized that Kikomi is no longer working.
That's not very demure of you.
They're not textile factories.
God.
They're not there. So you gotta do what you
Oh God, and the fact that that's still a course in some places. Oh God.
Hey,
okay.
So that's that. So you have to. For me, I think that's the thing I can tell men. Especially, I'm very passionate about men because men have got a lot of responsibility on their shoulders when they step into marriage. A lot of responsibilities. And those responsibilities just wear them down. Especially as a man who is coming from a home where they were taken care of. And suddenly you are here and you are not created for the streets.
Oh, okay.
And I think there is no bigger street than marriage. Marriage is a main street.
Things go out there. Now I amended.
Marriage is a main street. Things go on there, man.
Oh my gosh.
What did you tell the newlyweds? Talk to your fellow girls.
Girls, guys, whoever this applies to. Yeah, the marriage, okay, it's similar to what you're saying. Like, the marriage has to work between the two of you. The two of you are the ones who are in that marriage. For those of us who are polyamorous, however many of you are in that marriage, that you're the ones who are together in that. So, be in that. Because I think sometimes we also get married for the wrong reasons. Because some people are like, if I get married, or like they think of it like marriage is the thing you do. So I wouldn't get angry at people who say, I am not interested in marriage, I'm not interested in having children. Those are people who know I can't deal. And because they know I can't deal, they have stepped out. They're not on the street. They have decided to left, which I really, really appreciate. Because you have looked at yourself and you said, me is not for me.
Yeah.
So you've removed yourself. So there's that. So figure out, number one, if marriage is for you. So if marriage is for you and you have found yourself somebody and you're going and you're thinking, yes, let's get married. Again, copy paste the advice I got from my mom. as that person is, as they are. You take them as they are, not what you hope they will be, not what you think they are,
Yes.
but what you can see and what you can be at peace with. Because the beauty and the struggle of marriage being that street is that it will show you a lot of things about yourself and about the person that you might not have been ready for, that you may not be able to deal with. So go in with your glasses. Yes, be in love, have that whirlwind, have all of that. But also take time to sit and look back. Will this person, if something is important to me, like for example, let's say children are important for me in a marriage.
Yeah.
Does that person share the same? If they don't, and you know this is going to be a thing you can't live with, why are you stepping there? So I think, yes, have your eyes on when you get into your marriage. Appreciate the person as they are, not as what you want them to be. And also I think in life in general, but also in marriage, it's also never that serious. Like, be friendly with this person. Like, you need to, yes, you can love them, but also like them. It should be somebody you like. It shouldn't be somebody you feel you have a duty towards. Like, oh, I have to be a wife now and do all these things. I need to be a husband now and do all these things. Yes, you might not always wake up excited to do the things, but it shouldn't be such a drag on you that it's like, I have to. If you get my meaning. Yes. So, yeah, that's what I'd say.
All right. Thank you very much, people of the internet. It was a very, very nice one having you. Please leave a comment. Please consider subscribing. And until another episode, peace.
Toodles.
Enjoy your wine.